In this episode, we cover 6 different ways you can prepare for the VeVeVerse. So the VeVe team has announced that full access to the VeVeVerse will be coming in Q1. And considering we're in Q1, that only leaves us with a couple months. So assuming those invites still go out, today's episode is meant to show you how you can hit the ground running. As always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Now the first way to prepare for the VeVeVerse is by creating a folder and downloading a list of skyboxes. Now for those who don't know what a skybox is, think of 360-degree images. They're commonly used in game development to create various world environments. Now there are a few different ways you can find these skyboxes. The first way is going to be the paid method on platforms like Polyhaven, HDRiHaven, and Skybox Studio. All these platforms also offer free options. And when you're looking for skyboxes on these platforms, the best thing to look for are something called HDR photos, or high dynamic range skyboxes. And these skyboxes are going to be the best for lighting to make your spaces feel more lifelike. The last option is AI. So generating these skyboxes using artificial intelligence, and you can do it on a platform called Blockade Labs. You have 15 free credits every single day with the option to upgrade for more. The second way you can prepare for the VeVeVerse is by creating another folder, and this time downloading a bunch of textures. So when it comes to building items in your home space, let's say for example a shelf for one of your collectibles, there's going to be 2 main steps involved with doing this. The first is going to be the reshaping and placement of the object, and the second is going to be coloring it, or adding a texture. Now you'll do this because the shapes that you place into your space by default will not have any colors or materials on them. And so if you want to build a wooden shelf, you need to apply a wooden texture. Now just like our first example, there are going to be many different resources you can use to build your list. The first website I use is called ambientcg.com. There's also going to be polygon.com, textures.com, and blenderkit.com. I will make sure to link these down below, so if it does help, make sure to save the episode to watch it at a later date.
Lights and ones hot, got my records clean. Techno beats and streams, you know what I mean. Collectors gone digital, from the past we flee. New era in our grip, boundless and free.
Now the third folder you can create is going to be for a list of reference images for things you can build. So just like an artist who paints on a canvas, they might go to Google to reference certain things that they're painting. And so when it comes to the look of a certain building or the design of a certain wall, there are many different sites you can use to gather inspiration. The first is called AmazingArchitecture.com, and this is going to be a site that allows you to build a favorites list of architecture that you like. Others include Architizer.com, designboom.com, and behance.net. Now for the fourth way to prepare, don't worry, we don't need another folder here. This time we're heading over to your VeVe collection. Now it might seem obvious to some, but take a very thorough look of the collectibles in your collection. There are new ideas that come to mind all the time for how I can use certain pieces in my collection. Think about how you can scale the pieces up and down, because that might change your viewpoint on how to use a collectible. Maybe it's the board cube, and you want to scale it down to build inside of it instead of seeing it from the outside. Or maybe it's a car and you want to scale the car down instead of it being life-size so you can display it on a shelf. Maybe you want to hide part of the piece in a wall so that just the smoke from the 𝗕𝗏 jetpack is showing, or just the sign from the chimichanga truck. The possibilities are endless. Your biggest limitation will be you. Now another folder to create would be for a list of PNG images or wall art. We've seen the add file button already, plus we've actually seen beta testers showcase videos in their spaces as well, which means they've added the file. So the first option here would be generating images using, again, AI. So platforms like Midjourney, Grok, Bing AI. At this point, there are so many different image generators that you can use, and they're great for inspiration. Everything I'm tossing on screen right now, guys, is generated using Midjourney, by the way. Another option is stock images from platforms like FreePix, PNG Tree, or Canva. Google would be another free option, and at this point there are tons of AI images that you can find there as well instead of having to generate them yourself. The last option I want to highlight here is Pinterest, and this one is by far my favorite. Pinterest is an incredible resource that you can use for everything VeVeVerse. From inspiration on things you can build, to design work, to different images you want to use as wall art, like in this example. I highly recommend that if you don't have a profile, create one. It's completely free, and then you can start to favorite content and create your own lists over there as well. Now, my last tip for preparing for the VeVeVerse is analyzing the UI layout. We've seen more than enough videos where they're kind of laying it out all in front of us. UI is short for user interface, so I'm talking about the tools you'll see on the left-hand side and all the settings at the top. One button will allow you to open the library, and inside the library you'll see default models, collectibles that you own, as well as files you've imported. One tool on the left-hand side will allow you to move, scale, and rotate objects. Another tool allows you to texture items. Then there's a measurement tool for being precise with distance and angles, as well as a pointer for, well, pointing at stuff. But for anyone who's looking to learn more about the layout, in episode 98 we do dive deep into the free trial for Cavernous, which shares the same layout and tools you'll see in the VeVeVerse. Like everything else, linked in the description. Ladies and gents, that is going to conclude today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed. Those are 6 different ways you can prepare for when you get access to the VeVeVerse in Q1. Now, we should be going live tomorrow because VeVe has announced they are going to be sharing the full 5 or 6 minute video of 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 to turn on the bell so you're notified when that is live. But if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see in a future episode. And as for our next, I'll catch you then.